Let's talk about one of the biggest headaches in Agile development, those chaotic, soul-crushing meetings. Today, we're going to break down a single, really powerful meeting that can actually give you your week back. It's all about mastering the 90-minute refinement. So, let me ask you something. Do you ever walk out of a planning meeting and just feel completely drained, like you've accomplished nothing? If you're nodding right now, you are definitely not alone. And that feeling, that meeting fatigue, it's not just in your head. It's a huge invisible anchor dragging your team down. And it has a very real cost. We're talking about money. Research shows that all that context switching, jumping between tasks and meetings, can cost a company a whopping $48,000 per developer every single year, just in lost productivity. That's huge. But it's not just about the money, is it? It's about our brains. After just one interruption, it takes, on average, 23 minutes to get back into that deep focus flow state. 23 minutes. Now just think about how many times a day your team is forced to pay that mental price because of a choppy, meeting-filled schedule. So, what's the fix? Well, we can't just tweak the process a little bit. We have to fundamentally change the principle behind it. We need to shift from being process-obsessed to being human-centered. It's about creating a system that works with our brains, not against them. And the goal here is actually really simple. Build a process that actively protects your team. It's about making their energy, their focus, and their well-being the number one priority. Because let's be honest, a calm, focused team is an effective team. It's just that simple. The key idea here is something called cognitive load. Think of it like your brain's RAM. It's the total mental effort you're using at any given time. In our working memory, it's surprisingly limited. When we overload it with confusing meetings and constant interruptions, our performance just plummets. So our entire meeting structure should be designed to reduce that load. All right, so let's get to the solution. We're going to replace all that chaos with one single powerful meeting. It's the 90-minute weekly refinement. And trust me, it's going to become the engine room for your entire sprint. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. The old way, it's a mess, right? You've got multiple long, rambling meetings for every little thing. The new way, it's one focused 90-minute session every single week. You're not putting out fires, you're building a calm, continuous habit. So here's how it fits into the whole workflow. First, you've got your high-level planning with a small Three Amigos group, usually a product lead, a dev lead, and a QA lead. The work they do feeds directly into that weekly 90-minute refinement, the engine, and the output of that meeting is what makes your final sprint planning super fast and focused. This weekly session is the critical gear that makes the whole machine run smoothly. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we run this meeting to make it so darn effective? Let's pop the hood and break down the anatomy of a great refinement. The structure is key, and it is strict for a reason. You kick things off with just 5 minutes for the product owner to review priorities. That's it. Then you dive into the core. 40 minutes for the whole team to discuss, debate, and break down the work. And you wrap up with a tight 15 minutes just for estimation. This agenda is your best friend. It stops the meeting from wandering off track. Now, for this to actually work, there are 3 rules you just cannot break. First, the product owner and the lead dev have to prepare the items before the meeting. No winging it. Second, 90 minutes is a hard stop. Do not go over, ever. And third, remember the goal. It's not about refining everything. It's about creating a steady, reliable flow of ready work. And this right here, this quote, is the secret sauce. If you're stuck on one story for 20 minutes and going nowhere, that's not a failure. It's a feature. It's a big, flashing signal telling you that the story is too big or too vague. It needs more prep work before it comes back to the team. And when you really stick to that discipline, this is the beautiful result. You create a backlog where the work for the next sprint, and maybe even the sprint after that, is always fully understood, estimated, and good to go. No more last-minute chaos. So what's the big payoff? Well, it's not just about having one better meeting. This single change creates a massive positive ripple effect across your entire development cycle. The first thing you'll notice is that your sprint planning meeting is completely transformed. Since all the hard thinking and discovery is already done, it becomes a super fast, really efficient meeting that's purely about committing to the work, not figuring out what the work is. And by getting rid of all those little fragmented meetings, you give your team back their most valuable resource, hours of uninterrupted time. That deep work time, That's where the magic happens. That's where the real value gets created. And ultimately, it all adds up to this: a team that operates at a calmer, more productive, and genuinely sustainable pace. You stop burning people out, and you start creating an environment where they can do their absolute best work, sprint after sprint. So, I'll leave you with a challenge. Thinking about how you do things now, what is just one small thing you could change in your very next refinement to make it more focused and more respectful of your team's energy? Just one thing. Think about it. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.